What's up, guys? Heretic you here. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? What can I say? October, yes. The month of October is actually a very busy month for me, outside of the hobby. It's wife's birthday, and we got my wedding anniversary coming up, so actually, by the time you watch this, I'll be in Las Vegas celebrating 19 years of marriage. Yeah. Now, let's get back to the topic on hand. Today's video is going to be basically my initial impressions of Imperial Assault by Fantasy Flight Games. And yeah, I hope you guys we'll go over some mechanics. It's not going to be a how to play or whatever. I sat down, I think about a week ago, with Saga Phil. You might remember him from the Saga videos. And we played a couple games of Imperial Assault. And so I thought I would share my thoughts on the game. So, first off, the game has basically two modes. It has a campaign mode and sort of the skirmish mode. So, we didn't play the campaign mode. We played the first scenario out of the basic box set, and I believe it was called, Smuggled Goods, I believe is what it's called. So this is the basic tile setup, and I should mention that the game, the tiles are interchangeable, and you just sort of, it's kind of like Space Hulk. If you own Space Hulk, you just kind of, you match the tiles and they lock into place, and it's a really nice material that they use, really durable and high quality. And so here's a shot of the rebels. It's all about that base, no rebels. Yeah. So you got Luke Skywalker leading the charge, and I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but so I don't know everybody's name offhand, but there's a Wookiee there, and then you've got another Jedi person, a sniper guy, and a female kind of Han Solo character. I don't know. Anyways, that was Phil's army, so he's playing the rebels. And here's my force. So right off the bat, I've broken. Wow, it's taken me years to do this, but I've broken one of my cardinal rules on this channel, which was to feature all painted stuff. This is Phil's set. You guys saw earlier video of mine where I did a commission job. So Saga Phil is still in work in progress, and so I apologize for not having all painted miniatures. But, come on. I've been doing this for how many years? And featured all painted stuff for you guys, so you could forgive me for this time, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so moving right along, we're gonna take a look at a deployment card. This is an example. If you wanted to field this unit of stormtroopers, you can see there's a point value up in the upper left corner, and the number of bars on the side represent the number of models in that unit. So for 6 points, I get 3 stormtroopers. Their speed is 4. That means when I move 4 squares. The defense, that little black box, means that I roll 1 black dice when being attacked, and the little gun symbol is my attack. So I roll a blue dice and a green dice. We'll go over that in a second, and I have 3 health. That's per stormtrooper, and I don't know if you can zoom in or not, but at the other top you'll see this kind of lightning bolt symbol, and basically that means, like, if I attack on and I roll that symbol on a dice, I get to choose special abilities. Every character sort of has that, and on this one you can see that I could perhaps add +2 accuracy to my roll. That means that I would get 2 squares of range on top of my attacks, and the other one gives me extra hits. So it's very simple, and it allows. It's a pretty cool mechanic because it allows your characters to have sort of to unlock abilities as they attack and stuff. And I should mention some characters have built-in defenses where you roll defense dice, and they also come with a canceled hit, or they cancel the other person's kind of special ability. It just depends on the character. So that's one way they've kind of it's one sort of mechanic which they use to kind of give abilities to characters. So which is pretty cool. There are basically 2 defense dice. Let's go over the dice real quick. Yeah, so basically with dice, as you see, it's really their combat system super simple. You can pick it up in seconds. Basically, you look at the card, and it tells you what color dice to roll. And so the red, blue, and green are offensive dice. The black and white are defensive dice. So basically what happens is during combat, the attacking player rolls his dice, the defending player rolls their dice. The attacker counts the number of hits, and the defender counts the number of cancels. And then you kind of work out the difference between them. You apply, if I had more hits than blocks, then obviously that model is going to take the difference in damage. You see a little lightning bolt means that that's to activate their special abilities and such, and you can count those up because you can actually use multiple ones in attack. You can't use the same. You can't stack the same ability, but if your character card has more than one special ability, then and you roll, say, 2 lightning bolts, you can use both of them. So it's pretty simple. One quick note about attack and defense is that what I noticed is most of your characters are going to be rolling less dice on defense. And so the game sort of favors attackers, which is good because you don't want it's pretty frustrating because on the white dice there's actually a symbol that cancels out all attacks, and it's pretty frustrating. Like if you roll 5 or 6 hits plus some special abilities, and then Luke Skywalker rolls up and he just cancels all with his lightsaber. So it's possible, but not everybody has the white dice for defense. Only a couple characters that I noticed. Even Darth Vader himself, he gets 2 black defense dice. Doesn't get a white dice. So, but he's pretty badass even still with that defense. And I think Luke has a built-in block on top of his whatever, plus the white dice, and he's got some pretty cool abilities as well. So the heroes obviously a lot more powerful than your standard stormtrooper. So cool. So I took some pictures of the game as it progressed. Pretty simple scenario in this game. There were some contraband that were worth a certain amount of victory points. Anyone can pick it up. If you pick up the contraband, it actually lowers your movement, and then you have to sort of bring it back to your deployment zone. You also get points for killing units. So, like those stormtroopers on their cards, if you killed that entire unit, you would score 6 points. And for this game, it was whoever scored, I think it was 40 points first wins. And so you can see sort of Philip being very aggressive with the Wookiee. And so face off with Darth Vader. And I'm dealing out some serious damage. That's 5 wounds on that Wookiee right there with Darth Vader's attack. So Darth Vader's kind of a badass. The Wookiee does hit him back for 2 in their ensuing combat. And you can see Stormtroopers rolling out, lining up shots on that rebel over there. Unfortunately, didn't do much damage. And you got Luke. Luke, he's gonna run up and grab one of the contrabands. So, as I do with one of my my guards there as well, he picks up contraband. There's also these little event cards that you play during the turn, which helps to sort of mix up and gives you the element of surprise. So, I thought that was a nice addition, and you can cycle through them. You start with 3 at the beginning of the game, and then you can discard at the end of each turn. And I should say activation works pretty simple. Each character has generally 2 actions. And so they can move or attack, for example. Or move and interact, like pick up, one of the contrabands. That sort of thing. Aside from that, the game is pretty basic. And what I like about it is not only does it look like when you paint the models, this game looks fantastic on the table. I'm really surprised by the quality of models in this game. As you can see, like Wookiee cleaning up, just destroying things, and we'll go over what happens at the end of this game in a little bit. But I do manage to, you'll see he's going after the guys carrying the contraband. And so Vader's going to have to, set things right. So he's going out and seeking kills. And so I was actually down early in this game. As you see, I lost an entire squad of stormtroopers right there, and both of the guards. So, Phil, the rebels just sort of kicking butt. So Darth Vader, pretty much had to do everything by himself. So here we got the classic face-off. Luke and Vader. Unfortunately, this was not the ending that we wanted. So my Darth Vader just kind of worked over Luke pretty quickly and dispatched him. And, Darth Vader in this game kind of did all the work for me. The pieces that I got were a little weak. As you can see, dead Luke. No! I have the higher ground. That sort of thing. So, not gonna lie, this game is very fast. It's very quick. I being new and Phil just having a couple of games under his belt, we were able to get, 2 games. I think each of them maybe took 35 to 40 minutes at a time, which is beyond perfect for this genre of games. And what I mean by genre, or I consider these hybrid board game miniature games, they've become sort of a genre now. I mean, we have so many examples with, Soda Pop in Super Dungeon Explorer, and you have games like Descent, and games like what's the Rivet Wars, and all kinds of, like Zombicide, of course, one of the bigger ones, more popular ones, where there's miniatures, you can paint them. They have a higher level of detail than, say, a lot of the Flying Frog stuff. But I mean, I suppose you could paint the Flying Frogs games as well. But these were really, if you look at the Star Wars miniatures, if you look at Super Dungeon Explorer, you look at miniatures like that, they were meant to be painted. And once they do, they look really great on the field. And so I consider these kind of games the way to get your, family members, your non-gamers into gaming is with games like this. Really simple combat system, really easy to learn. But I mean, you can do stuff tactically, as you see, like in this game, this particular game, Phil came out pretty aggressive, and he started killing off my units. But in the end, I was able to actually win the scenario because he threw Luke at me. Darth Vader had already picked up one of the contrabands and dropped it off in his deployment zone, and once he killed. Killing Luke, killing the Wookiee. That's my Wookiee. Killing all that stuff. I was able to catch up very quickly. So there is tactics to this game. It's not it's not on the level of like your War Machine or your Infinity, but it really shouldn't be. That's not what the expectation is. And I have a sneaking suspicion that campaign mode will be very immersive. Okay, so let's see. In the end, how do I score this game? Let's see. On the miniature side, I'm really, really pleased with the way they captured the aesthetics, the way the quality of sculpts are, the variety of models that you get in the basic box set too. Now all the stormtroopers are the same pose, and all the guards are the same pose, but it's not. It's really they've really stepped up the level for these type of hybrid games, and I enjoyed painting them. They paint up pretty quick, and they look nice. So I'm gonna give the miniatures a solid B. Okay. As far as the game goes, the game mechanics, really simple to learn, like I said before, probably a million times during this video. Yeah, guys, I'm rusty at this. So I would have to give the mechanics about a C. Here's my main problem when I was playing the game. I think that when I think of Star Wars, I think of, one of the characters like Luke or Han Solo taking out, dozens of stormtroopers. You don't get that feel. Like, in fact, the second game that we played, we switched sides, and I rushed Luke out there. He ran into a squad of stormtroopers, almost killed him outright. I really had to do some shenanigans to keep him alive, and that part was a little. I think the characters are balanced, but to the point where you're not feeling as heroic. Like 3 stormtroopers in the movies, like they can't hit shit. Okay, they're the worst shots in the world. Here, they actually have a special ability where if they stand next to each other, they become more accurate. Kind of anti Star Wars. So there's a little detachment, I think, from the theme to the rules, right? The rules are very balanced, don't get me wrong, like I said, but it just doesn't feel like, like Luke Skywalker should be just like smoking those guys, where it's actually a pretty decent fight. You have to put some effort into it. He can't just block all the blaster beams and waste all those dudes. So yeah, so I give that about a C. The materials look great. Again, this game is fantastic. I think it's a great game for your non-gamers. I've said that before. I have to compare it to games like Super Dungeon Explorer, like Zombicide. I still think out of all of those games, Zombicide is still sort of the king of getting people, of the hybrid sort of tabletop board game stuff. Even though the sculpts of Zombicide are not up to what Fantasy Flight has done here, I still point to Zombicide as there's something just really fun. The way they sort of, you're killing dozens of zombies and stuff like that. And this overwhelming swarm coming at you makes it sort of exciting. Where this game, it's more of a tactical kind of game where I think it's there, it's good, but it didn't pull off the theme as much as I liked it to it. I wanted to like this game more, and I think maybe the campaign mode would sell me more. If I play that, maybe I'll feel better about it. Right now, I'm going to give this game a solid C. I think it's great. I think if you're into Star Wars, you probably would. I'd probably give it a B. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, so yeah, I know the movie's coming out and everyone's geeking out and everything, but I'm not I'm just not that guy. I don't know. I like Star Wars, don't get me wrong, but I mean, come on, the last 3 movies were crap, so it's kind of hard to defend that series. I'm just saying. So, anyways, guys, I hope you liked the video. Sorry about kind of the inconsistency that has been going on lately. But after the month of October, we should be back on track. So we should see some battle reports and updates of projects and stuff. Should be good times. So I hope to see you on the next one. Hope you enjoyed this little initial impressions of Star Wars. Okay.